last year, I had a good friend, Marty Winchowski, who's a pastor of the Sovereign Grace Church in Philadelphia, but also writes some great material for children. And he emailed me saying, I've put together this Advent curriculum and was wondering if Sovereign Grace Music would be interested in producing an album that went along with this curriculum. And it was also devotional. And I was immediately intrigued and thought, this is a great idea. So that's how the album came about.
I think it made for an exciting challenge as a songwriter at the songwriting retreat we did last year, because your song is going to sit on a record next to these amazing traditional carols that were so well written, have stood the test of time, lyrically focused and poetically beautiful. And the challenge that it brought to the songwriting team, I feel like it really made everybody step up their game too, to have to write a song that was inspired and going to work next to these songs on the record.
And one of the things that I was so excited about this project was taking some of those familiar carols and just altering some just a little, but some pretty extensively. Probably the one that I was most excited about was "O Holy Night," which is this beautiful carol, but it doesn't quite get to what is so significant about this night. It doesn't spell it out. We've been singing a version of that a good friend, Kevin Hartnett, wrote. He rewrote two of the verses, and he tells, just in a beautifully artistic way that really fits the setting of the first verse, he tells the story of the gospel. It articulates in detail that Jesus came to take our curse, to suffer in our place, so that we could be forgiven, so that we could know God as his sons and daughters. And I'm just so glad it's on the project.
Vicki and I wrote The Unbelievable. When Vicki and I work together, we typically exchange ideas, even sometimes make assignments, go apart, work on something, come back together again. We found that tends to be the most effective for us. And I was just tinkering around with some ideas, and it was just like the song came, and the beginning of it at least. And so I went to Vicki and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this idea?" And she listened to it. She's like, "Yeah, I think we got a pretty good nugget there. Let's see what we can do with it."
"O Come, O Come, Emmanuel" is a dearly loved Christmas carol, but I think it can sometimes be confusing for people because it uses a lot of Old Testament imagery that people often don't take the time to explore. So Steve Cook and I took some time to write 3 new verses that connect to Jesus as prophet, as priest, and king, which are 3 concepts that are more familiar, and just kind of played those out within the context of that tune. But I'm glad that we have some new lyrics as well to help people focus on Jesus, the desire for him to come before he was born, and our desire for him to come again.
O come, true prophet of the Lord, and turn the key to heaven's door. Be thou a comforter and guide, and lead us to the Father's side. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall by his word our darkness dispel.
The song "There Blooms a Rose in Bethlehem" came from the fact that I was inspired by an existing Christmas carol. So it's not a rewrite of that one, but it was an inspiration, and I kind of ran away with it. There's a song that was called "Lo, How a Rose Ere Blooming," and it's a really, really old song. It's got some neat stuff about it, and I love the analogy. When we're songwriting, sometimes I like to have a conversation with the song. So that sounds entirely insane, I get it. But it is, you write a line and you listen. So what would I say next, or what needs to be said, or what is it asking to say next? With that song, we took that analogy of, from Jesse's root, this flowerwood spring being Jesus born a baby. And we followed that all the way to his death, burial, and resurrection with the analogy, where eventually the last line is that those who place their faith in him shall blossom in the grave. So just had a conversation with that idea and then followed it through, and then we had that song.
This is the first album that I've written songs with a pastor in Phoenix named Jason Hansen. Actually, we wrote 2 songs for the album. One of them was "Who Would Have Dreamed." That's the first one we actually finished together. We're writing for Micah 5, 1 and 2, where God is talking about, to you, Bethlehem of Ephrathah, is going to be born one who's coming forth from of old, and kind of this little town. And so Marty had "O Little Town of Bethlehem" as the song to go in there, and we thought, well, let's try and write something else. So we kept driving that theme of how would this be? And then the chorus is just, who would have dreamed or ever foreseen that we could hold God in our hands? And when we got that line, I think that's when we realized, okay, this is what we're trying to say in this song. But one thing I realized was it took us months to get there. And it was an encouragement to me that just by plodding along, going back and forth, you can get to a place where a song turns from just a bunch of jumbled lines to something that really expresses the mystery, the awe, and the amazement of Jesus, the Son of God, becoming a baby to save us.
Who would have dreamed, whoever foreseen